Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are back at it with the third installment to the Travis Scott Medium Olive series, a comparison from the authentic to the replication. Why am I doing a third video? Because they keep reproducing these replications here to the left, and they keep making current fixes to them to look a lot closer to the authentic. So that's why you see repetitive authentications on these shoes. A lot of these shoes come from different factories, made in different batches and so forth. And that's why this channel exists, to help those not get scammed on the secondary market. This channel is not to promote replicas whatsoever. It's only to show the comparisons. So those who want to spend the $500 on this side, on the authentic realm, don't get this instead. So that's why we want to be careful with this stuff. So let's go ahead, and actually before we get right into it, I did want to advise, I do have community posts up comparing the shoes with photos. It is not to promote the reps whatsoever. I already received a question on one of them saying, is this a commercial for reps? Which is a weird question, to be very honest. That a commercial for reps, like, bro, that's not a commercial. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, no, that's not what this is. Typically, for promotional replica pages, they're going to have where to cop, how to cop, where to get the shoes from, obviously, and and basically just promote the rep a lot more than the authentic. That's just the truth. But that's not what we're going to do here. We're just doing a comparison, and that's about it. So let's get into it. Again, we have the authentic to the right, replication to the left. You can see right off the bat, the color tone of the box is completely different from the replication to the left here. It's a more coffee tone here. It's not. It's much lighter. It doesn't even really give off the presence of a coffee tone, even though it probably is, but it is that drastic of a difference. Also, the brown on the Nike and the swoosh. Obviously, as you can see, the color of the brown is definitely lighter than the version on the rep, which is a much darker brown. So let's get to it. Let's look into these boxes, compare the labels, then we'll get into the shoes. Okay, guys, so having a look here, something I want to show you that's pretty typical of replicas. Now, this is the authentic here. You see the paper on the inside, of course. And we're going to go ahead and have a look at the replication here. Now, you see obviously how clean it is. You cannot see through it, right? And so forth. It's just, clean internal tissue paper on the authentic. Now, on the rep to the left, regardless a lot of times of what factory they came from or batch, you can already see right off the bat that it's, not the correct color pink. It's more translucent. You can pretty much see through it as you see the comparison there. So they did spell Nike Air correctly. They do have the correct frown for the Cactus Jack face and the Cactus Jack letters and logo here. But again, you got that oily, translucent looking internal tissue paper. Yes, it did come with laces. Of course, here, the pink and blacks. It says shoelaces with the Jumpman logo on the box in the rear. I should have them in here as well on the authentic. Yep, there we go. And we can even take a quick gander here. So let's just look at the pinks here. Again, shoelaces here. It's much more embossed. There's the Jumpman logo. And on the rear, again, it's all the same words. However, you see it's not as imprinted, embossed, and so forth, versus the replication to the right and to the authentic to the left. Excuse me, the authentic to the right versus the replication to the left here. Sorry, guys, I will mess up like that from time to time, speaking a little too fast. But yeah, laces are what they are. They pretty much replicated those one-to-one. So definitely just look at the back of the boxes and just have a look and see how nicely embossed they are on the authentic to the right versus the replication to the left. So let's get these out of the way now. And inside the replication here, there's the YDM mold sticker, as you can see. And let's have a look at the authentic. There's the YDM mold sticker there, as you can see. Looks to be a little different. Yeah, it's this is like an updated YDM mold sticker where it has like imprints around it and so forth. Now, on the particular one here on the replication, it doesn't. It's just white with the green, with the internal green circle. That's it. It doesn't have the white imprint going around it. So a newer version of the YDML stickers Nike's been using as of late. All right, and now we'll go ahead and compare the actual box labels. Okay, so here we have the authentic UPC ending in 914. Let's see, DM7 866200, Air Jordan 1 Low OG SP for special project, made in China, getting clean, crisp, and pristine, as I always say. That is your authentic label there. And let's go ahead and compare it to the replication. And remember those last 3 digits there, 914 on the UPC. So here we are looking at the replication. And as we can see here, the Air Jordan 1 Low OGSP, last 3 digits on the UPC is 914. If you scan this UPC in the StockX app, it will populate the shoe. So they did get the UPC number right for this particular size. Now I know some of these UPCs can be different region to region across the world. So don't just say, oh, I got a different UPC number, that means it's fake. I'm not going to say it does, because again, these UPCs get updated and so forth over time and throughout the regions of the world. Now they did have made in China. Now one thing I did want to state right off the bat, it looks to be that this box label is too short. It's definitely shorter than the authentic. I have noticed that about replications, but we'll leave it at that, because the box of the replication is a little bit smaller than the authentic. But again, it is a scammable label, guys. Be careful out there and so forth, and let's keep it moving. Okay, guys, here we are, and let's go ahead and get into it here. We have the authentic to the right, replication to the left. On this particular replication here, it looks like they updated the color of the toes, as, be very honest with you, they are very close to the authentic. However, they are a little bit darker than the authentic. Now, I have heard the whole thing that the authentic pairs are fluctuating in colors. Now, I was receiving images of authentic pairs, but it was like, the kids run, some adult runs and so forth. And, when we're comparing stuff like that, it's a bit much for me. Just compare the authentic pair with either the same size or adult, or something similar to the sizing. But if you're going to compare this to a GS pair, in all fairness, like, it's hard to judge things that way, because GS pairs, we know quality is not always up to par and there's always strong differences. But I digress. Let's get to it here. Again, toe boxes are a little bit darker on the replication to the left. Also, when I rub on that upper nubuck here, or suede, whatever you want to call it, it does not have as much of a nap on it or shagginess than the authentic to the right. You can feel it. It's night and day. The look is there, but you can feel the difference in the actual material there. Night and day. All right, let me grab the authentic here to the right and the replication here to the left. You know what? Let me just zoom out just a little bit, give things a little bit more breathing room here for us on screen, and there we have it. So one thing I noticed that there's a difference in a lot is the swoosh here, the hook. As you can see how it's nice, and it just goes from the tip here all the way down to the midsole, right? Nice rounded look here. It's similar. It is similar, okay? I'm not being picky here. It's similar, but as it goes down, it protrudes further out, right? You see how it's just straight, nice oval, boom, goes right in. Here, it protrudes further out. So it's like if the swoosh hook has a little bit of pointiness to it versus the authentic here to the right. It does have a good amount of top grain on the actual leather swoosh. Here, a little bit more tumbleness on the actual authentic. You can also see the color differences of the olive, as you see here on the authentic to the right versus the rep to the left. It's lighter on the rep to the left also. It does not have that nap shagginess feel when you rub on it. So it's just a flat. It's basically a flat nubuck, right, on the upper there. Again, they do have the correct number of holes on the eye stay, as we know. Looking at the toe boxes, again, extremely similar, except the authentic to the right is more aerodynamic versus to the left. Very close, though. Again, you see how there's just much more transition on the Authentic to the right on that toe. You see the transition differences versus the Replication to the left. Again, looking at the Nike Air tags, again, nearly identical. Very close and identical to each other. I'm looking at them in person here as you guys are looking at them on camera, and the red is a bit lighter on the Replication to the left. And they both have size 12 American size tags in them. However, the Replication to the left is a bigger size 12 tag put on the insole there. Obviously, they both come with the cardboard shoe trees. And looking at the comparison of the stitching is a little bit smaller and cleaner on the Authentic to the right versus the Replication to the left. Okay, Authentic right, Rep left. The swooshes look nearly identical. A little bit of more of a gloss on the black swoosh on the Authentic here to the right versus the Rep to the left. Again, you see there's structural differences, and I'm going to point it out. The Replication, these are both size 12, but the Replication structure is bigger than the Authentic to the right, which you can kind of see how the stitching's like bigger than the Authentic to the right. That's just one thing I'll go ahead and call out. Looking at the outsoles, they're identical in person and on camera as far as the color goes. And let's have a look here. Looking at the midsoles here to the rear, the patterns are a little bit different from the Authentic to the left versus the Rep to the right. Now, let's do this. Authentic on the left, guys. And the Rep is going to be on the right. Let's have a look at the Cactus Jacks. And as you can see, a thicker stitch job on the Cactus Jack to the Authentic to the left versus the Rep to the right. Also shape, and looks to be a little bit of a thicker collar here of the material, of the olive material, versus the Authentic to our left. And now let's go ahead and look at the other shoes to see how they compare with each other. All right, guys, Authentic on the left, Replication to the right. Let's get to it. Okay. So, all right, having a look here, as we could see the Replication, that olive color is a bit of a tone of a bit darker on this shoe versus the Authentic to the left. Also not as much nap or shagginess while you rub it versus the Authentic. Way more shagginess, a lot more transition there. I'm also looking at the toe boxes. As you can see here, the stitching on the Authentic to the left, it's like a hair of a little bit of a smaller stitching versus the Replication to the right. And also having a look here, this time around the Rep looks to be a little bit more aerodynamic than the actual Authentic to the left here. Again, midsole colors are very close in tone. The obvious outsoles are very close in tone and color as well. Then having a look at the tags, again, very close. The Replication this time around has a bit of a darker red of the Nike Air. And looks like the laces are very close. Ironically, the Replication's lace is a little bit thinner. And again, the size tags, you see how it says size 12 here? That tag, it's smaller than the Replication to the right. And having a look here at the medial. There we go, close. In this case, the Replication to the right swoosh, see, it looks to be a little bit smaller than the Authentic to the left. The left swoosh hook looks a little bit more aerodynamic than the Replication as well. Again, looks like they match the midsole of the color. So here's something else that I actually want to do here. Let me grab the Rep here. Now, Rep on the right, Authentic to the left. You see how much cleaner the Air Jordan wing and stitching is versus the Rep to the right. Also, the structure is different. Authentic's a bit more wider versus a little bit more narrow here on the replication, the basketball in the middle. Again, just not as clean. Here you can see all the in-between white uh, coloring. Here you don't. It just kind of covers up here on this part of the ball. Again, a thicker material foam here on the upper collar, as you can see, versus the authentic to the left. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff here. Let's see what else maybe we'd like to possibly call out here. So yeah, the swoosh hooks are definitely a different shape on these. As we have a look here again. Again, super, super clean here. Let's get this back on the left here. Just looking to point out some other stuff. So here's the authentic swoosh hook versus the rep swoosh hook. You see it's like a little wonky versus the authentic. See the authentic there? Just below it is like a little bit, it's got a nice flow on that curve on the hook versus here, not as sturdy. It's there, but it's just not as sturdy or clean. And we'll leave it at that, guys. Now we'll go ahead and get into the internals of these shoes. And, we're going to go ahead from there and, end this video. Okay, guys, so having a quick look here at the insoles. As you can see, we'll look at the right ones. You see the Travis Scott, the lettering, color texture is a bit stronger, much more clearer, legible than the replication to the left. It looks like it was just, was a lesser quality print job. I'll say that much. Also, you see the size 12 men's stickers. Now the replications is bigger than the authentic to the right. Again, the shape of the actual Cactus Jack face is different here. More oval on the rep, a little bit more narrow on the authentic. Again, difference, you see the red on the Nike Air on the authentic is a little bit more of a darker red versus a gym red on the replication. And we should see the same things here, and we do. See, a little bit more of a darker red on the Air Jordan here, more of a gym red, Cactus Jack, and then you got the Jumpmans down below, and then the size 12 size tags, of course. Let's have a look at the rears quickly. Again, near identical. They got the glue strips going across. And let's have a look at the other. Same here, they went a little bit higher there on the actual replication. And let's keep it moving. Okay, so now to the stitching of the lasting board, authentic to the left, the rep to the right. And as you can see, they're looking at the authentic on the left there. Again, the Jordan 1 lows are stitched a bit differently from, let's say, a Jordan 2 to a Jordan 3 and so forth. And looking at the left here, we see that it's not as tight as the rep is around the heel, though the rep is similar in the stitching, but to the authentic here on the left, the stitching is just much more consistent with everything that it shows. Now, having a look here at the actual internal tag, with the authentic to the left, you see it's bold, you see it's clear. The end date is March 27th of 24, which to the right on the rep, it does not match at all with the dates, nor the boldness of the color black and so forth. Also, the UPC number a little bit below there, also it's different. You can zoom in if you need to, but those are the differences for sure with the actual internal tags. That's why when you get these apps, these legit apps and so forth, that's why they always ask for the tags, because they got the dates down packed. So with that, let's keep it moving. Okay, guys, so that will conclude our authentication today. Thanks for hanging out with me in this particular session again. Definitely be careful out there, guys. A lot of these pairs are on the secondary markets. I've already seen a few videos where some people have even ordered them from secondary markets. I'm not going to say no names. Use your imagination, but obviously replications got through and they're kind of fighting back and forth to resolve that. So hopefully, again, this definitely brings additional help for you guys out there, those who may own businesses, or even if it's just for personal use, that you get the authentic pair you paid for. And with that, we're going to leave it there. And we're going to keep it moving, guys, till the next video. And y'all know what it is. The Authentication Guru is out.